Hello folks, you're watching Jackie Walks rubric number 2. Today is October 10. It's a pretty sunny and warm day, and I continue to tell you about the history of our city. Last time I was walking right here from Sosnovy Bor to December Square. Today I have decided to tell you about the most central and the main street of our city. It is Lenin Street. And now I'm standing at the very beginning of this street. This is crossing of Kirova and Lenin Street. And let's get it started, okay? Well, this crossroads is the very beginning of Lenin Street. This is Kirova. This is Lenin Street. Okay, I go westward, sorry. So I start to tell you about the history. So Lenin Street originally was called Большая Street, or the Big Street, and this name stayed until 1924. After that, when Soviets came here, they renamed it, and it became street of 5-я Краснознаменная Army. It is 5th Red Flag Army Street, so called. And here's the stand of Soviet times, a stand where different slogans, Soviet slogans and mottos are displayed. Okay, by the way, this part of road cars don't drive here, you know, so they start driving right at this crossing. So in 1924 it was renamed from Большая to 5-я Краснознаменная Army to 5th Red Flag Army Street, and 3 years later in 1927 it was renamed in honor of one of Soviet secretaries, Soviet Party secretaries, Nikolai Kubyak. It was renamed into Kubyakovskaya Street. But in 1937, 10 years later, it was renamed again into Vladimir Lenin Street. So it is still now, and it is the central main street of our city. So I'm just passing by Moulin Rouge. I don't know, this is a new building. I don't know what is gonna be here. Hotel and sauna. Okay, I got it. And now we've got, for example, entertainment building, bar, billiard, pool. Here are a lot of, you know, nightclubs. So teenagers and youth people. Malevich, you can see it here. Forte piano, this karaoke bar. And here you can see one of the gas stations. In the beginning of Lenin Street, here are a lot of gas stations. And this is the exhibition center Забайкальский. I have never been, I have never visited it. But here you can buy, for example, different goods from vegetables to fur coats and many others. So a lot of different exhibitions take place in this exhibition center. Okay, this is 2 Lenin Street. It is educational institution, as far as I know. And across the road you can see next gas station, which is situated right here, and down there we've got another Rosneft gas station. So here are a lot of gas stations, and as for me, I don't understand how do they keep the competition between each other, you know what I'm saying? And there in the far you can see the so-called Batareyny micro district. Wow, by the way, it's not Rosneft anymore, it's DAX, and you can see these, I don't know what is that. This is a Volksmuzzle of what? dog muzzle. I don't see it. It is pretty sunny right here. So it's nowadays it's not Rosneft anymore, and it is a new gas station. Okay, and not far from here the sewage treatment facilities are situated, and that's why they've got a pretty bad smell around here. You know, it smells like shit or something like that. Next significant building on my right, it is the railway department hospital, so-called Dorozhная больница. I call it in Russian. So it is a pretty large hospital institution. I have come up to the terminal trolley bus stop, the same as in Sosnovy Bor, but it's another marshroute. It is marshroute number 1 and 5. It's right here. You can see trolley bus in front of me. These buildings behind these tall fencing, tall wall, it is the trial center. It's not so good seen behind these bushes, but it is real trial center. In Russian we call it SIZO, следственный изолятор, and people who committed crime, they wait until the trial in this place, and after the trial they are moved to the real prison. We've got about 5 prisons in the area of our city. Well, it is common in our region, you know what I'm saying? And right in opposite of the trial center, you can see the old sites of municipal hospital number 1. Before that, maybe in the beginning of 20th century, maybe sometime later, here were the horse stablings. But nowadays, they've got a hospital institution right here. Department store, it is called Птица. In English it is the bird. And nowadays it is the department of Sberbank, different, you know, different shoe stores, drug stores, and so on. So we've got typical five floor buildings right here. They were built in the 60s, 70s of last century. They made of brick. So typical Khrushchevki. During the Khrushchev's time, they were built. A lot of different shops, cafes, and so on, you know what I'm saying? So if you want to go shopping, if you want to, oh, here is the post office, you can see, but it is already removed. Okay, so if you want to go shopping, for example, to buy souvenirs, gifts, to have lunch, or just to loiter about, you need to go and to walk down the Lenin Street. Okay, and first of all I want to tell you about the historical buildings which are situated on Lenin Street. Some of them, they have historical value, that's why it is not allowed to take them down, and they try to keep them in good condition. So you can see it right in opposite. But it is occupied with different modern shops, different cafeterias, and so on. By the way, you can see the old historical building. It is situated right between the Khrushchevka and a new house. It was built in 90s, in the beginning of 2000s, I don't remember. It is a 2-stair building, two-stair building. It is a building of children's hospital. Nowadays it's not used, and maybe it's gonna be taken down. I don't know exactly, but as for me, I would like to save and to keep it in good condition, because it's pretty good architecture, you know what I'm saying? And I'm entering the December Square right here. It was repaved and reconstructed last year, and nowadays it is a popular place for young mothers, for dog walkings, you know what I'm saying? Okay, and I want to tell you about one thing. When I was a kid, you can see this tall building right in front of me. It is called Parade Trade Center, but when I was a kid, here was situated the old market. For example, my grandmother was selling her vegetables from the garden, from countryside's garden. But then it was took down and this tall building was built, and nowadays it is pretty gloomy and boring place. As for me, I have visited this trade center maybe once or twice, and it's almost empty, you know? It's pretty gloomy place. So the constructors, they have killed this place of this overcrowded place. Maybe you know, maybe not, but this district is called Vesna, the spring. It is named after the Soviet shop Vesna, which is still right here. And by the way, I'm living in this district. I'm living right here. So that's the fact. But it is the central, you know, the central district of our city. So here is the border between Ingodinsky and central districts of Chita. Okay, we have crossed Nikolai Ostrovsky Street, and on your left you can see the so-called booking offices, Aeroflot we called it, because here you can buy tickets to different countries. So here are a lot of booking offices are situated, not only Aeroflot and maybe a lot of others. Okay, and on your right you can see a lot of different shops, shoes, clothes, cosmetics, perfumes. Okay, next interesting building, it is the Professional Technical College, and the former Argun restaurant. Later it was called the Green Grove, and nowadays they've got the some kind of a ministry right here. A lot of foreigners, they get ID cards, passports right here, maybe some kind of permissions for working in Russia. I don't know how to say it in English. Okay, and this is the famous Temp shop. It is also famous for this building for its architecture. I'm gonna cross the street. It is called 9 января, January 9th, and it was named after the dramatical events that happened in 1905. A lot of people, they have died, they have perished in Khadinskaya Square, as far as I remember. So you can Google the January 9, 1905, and you will know about this historical event, you know what I'm saying? Okay, this is subway. It is common in this city, you know what I'm saying? Okay, the subway, for example, I've been to subway for once, and as for me, I didn't like it. I don't know why, but I have no objects about that. Okay, I have decided to have a short rest, brief rest. I'm sitting on the bench at the Zavaikalsky Art Salon. Here you can find and buy different souvenirs, different gifts, and a lot of masters, they, for example, sell their goods right here. They may be handmade and so on. So it is about folk, about Russian tradition, and many others, you know what I'm saying? And by the way, in opposite you can see the abandoned construction site. It appeared maybe 17 or maybe 19 years ago, I don't know exactly. And I suppose they wanted to build some kind of a cafeteria, cafe, restaurant or something like that. You see these arches. It looks like it was going to be some kind of cafeteria, you know, and it was abandoned. So you can see the trees have grown in this in the area of this construction site. So it is still here, and nobody cares about that. This is the crossing with Polina Sipenko Street, and you can see the most interesting, the most beautiful building in the center of our town, of our city. It is called Shumov's Palace. It was built in 1913, 1915 by the traders, Shumov's brothers. As far as I know, one of the brothers, he bought the project of this building in Paris during the World Fair, and after that he came here and have built this building. Nowadays here is the Department of Federal Security Service, and common people, simple people, they are prohibited to enter this building, you know what I'm saying? Okay, and now I'm going to wait and go to Udakan Cinema Theater. Before that, here was the municipal garden, municipal park. It was called Gorsat, but then it was removed, it was taken down. This is Udakan Cinema Theater, and right in opposite you can see the Polytechnical College, and nowadays it is occupied with Forestry Engineering College, so a lot of students are studying right here. Okay, and I'm coming up to Udakan. So it is typical Soviet cinema theater. There are a lot of the similar, even the same cinema theaters throughout our country. For example, in maybe Barnaul, Tumen, or something like that. But they, of course, they hold different names. In our city, it is called after the mountains, Udakan, in the north of Zabaikalsky region. And by the way, what's on? Okay, Unforgiven. The star was born, I don't know, Venom, and Mystery of the House with Clock. Okay, and this building, it is called the Visit Hotel. It was built maybe about 10 or 12 years ago, as far as I remember. And this is the Centralny. It is a pretty old and famous shop, trade center. It is called Central. And next to it is the Shumov's Palace. Nowadays it is the Department of Federal Security Service. And next building, it is also of great architecture. It is the Officer's House, or Dom Офицеров. So it was built approximately 80 years ago, maybe 80, maybe 90 years ago. And this is the Officer's House of Soviet Army, and they've got gorgeous nowadays. It is the most beautiful and one of the main places of interest in our city. It is the Odora Park, and a lot of citizens, they visit it every day, and especially on weekends. So I'm standing at the crossing of Профсоюзная Street and Lenin Street, right in front of. You can see the monument, the statue of Peter Beketov. Okay, he was Cossack, and he was founder. He's considered to be the founder of our city. Approximately 1653 it happened. But the date, the exact date of foundation, it is a topic of controversy. So this guy is a founder of our city, Peter Beketov, in Russian Pyotr. And this is our regional drama theater, and this is the drama theater square, like we are used to call it. As you can see, it is slowly devastating, and I have heard that our government is going to reconstruct it next year, maybe, to reconstruct the fountain. And this is the building of our regional energetical company. We are in the very center of our city. It is museum of Soviet Army, of Red Army, you can see. It is part of officer's house. Okay, and as you can see, here are a lot of people. It is pretty crowded. Also, every rush hour, the traffic jams take place right here in this street. Okay, I'll better walk in the shadow because it's getting pretty warm, and you know, I got a little bit sweat under my leather coat. Okay, here is, by the way, this building. This is the regional railway department, and right in opposite, I'm coming up to Zabaykalye. This is also the Hotel Zabaykalye, and this is the memorial board. Okay, 1653. This is the year of foundation, Peter Beketov. Here you can see 1917, when the Soviet power take place, and this is 1976. It means that this memorial board was placed right to the 50th anniversary of Soviet power. Well, my dear friends, I have reached the destination point, Central Square. So you can see this Zabaykalye Hotel. So it was, by the way, the extra floor was constructed approximately about 7 or 8 years ago. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 floor, and the 6th floor, the so-called penthouse, was built not so long ago. Okay, so here you can see the Central Square, the monument of Lenin, that very Lenin. The street is named after. So next time I'm gonna tell you about the history of this square, and I will continue my way westward right there. So thank you very much, thank you for watching. Please share this video, subscribe my channel, and come to my Jack English Meets People on October 13 in Irish pub Harrods at 7 p.m. I'll be waiting for you. It was Jack English, real deal, pal.